only variation of fit your lifestyle.
Happy Valentine's.
We gotta do this before Mick finds out. Just wanna let you guys all know, 8 o'clock every Sunday night on the Scene Snobs Network is the Phantom Effect. We got a lot of great guests, and me and Mark doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Oh crap, Mick's coming. Gotta go. Check us out.
This one's gonna be a hard one. No pun intended.
Down the catwalk every day, and maybe someday we'll go all the way.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. A sequel was all but inevitable, really.
Hello, potential survivors. Ghostfake here, and I'm here to talk to you about a perfectly harmless, yet sometimes fatal affliction called subscriber's guilt. This unbelievably dangerous disease occurs when YouTube recommends a video that you may like, and based off the one video, you subscribe to that channel, only to find out that every other video on that channel is complete trash. Well, I'm here to tell you that at Survivor's Guilt, you don't have to worry about that, because every video is trash. Here at Survivor's Guilt, we determine your chances of surviving your favorite and not favorite horror movies, using our patented survival stat technology based loosely in science. We calculate your exact odds of surviving through these movies. Did I say exact? I meant exaggerated and biased. We do this by taking a look at our main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine your chances of suffering survivor's guilt. So don't afflict yourself with subscriber's guilt, try survivor's guilt, and prepare to be disappointed.
Hey everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees. That's right, Friday the 13th, Part 6. And you're listening to thescenesnobs.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Final Onesies Horror Podcast. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, joined as always by my counterparts, John Fading Arcader.
What's up, guys?
And of course, we'd be remiss without our very own Jason on the show, Frank. Yeah. And last but certainly not least, the Master Shake, Dan. I'm not giving your ups for Freddie. It's not happening.
No,
Jason. Can't do it over Jason. And we have a very special guest tonight. She is a Mutant Fam member, and she is going to tear it up for our St. Paddy's Day talk. Katie's joining us.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Katie, before we get started, I want you to promote your stuff. Please tell us where we can find your artwork and where everybody can go and buy.
Right, yeah. So I am an illustrator and designer based out of Colorado, and I have a print shop on inprint.com. I have an Etsy shop at peridion.etsy.com, I believe it is. And I also do contract work and commission work, so certainly feel welcome to email me or slide into my DMs and talk to me. I am on Twitter constantly. I am pretty much always online. So, like, alarmingly online. So always feel welcome to talk to me. I make t-shirts, I make stickers, I make
Stickers right here.
all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, like those up there. And when I'm on the ball, I try to post new art every week. So, check it out.
Absolutely, and help support. So we are definitely going to be, we're going to have all of the links right in the descriptions. Of course, this is recorded. So, but I will also on the day add the links into the comments so anybody can check it out. So, but welcome, guys. We're here to talk some horror, and it's St. Paddy's Day this week. So we thought it might be fun to talk not just St. Paddy's Day. That's got to be Dan. That sounds like a Dan thing.
No, that's me. I'm gonna turn off my notifications.
That's Dan's suit. Dan's suit is like, I want you back. Just hitting them with all the notifications. Yeah, so we're going to talk some St. Paddy's Day horror. We're going to talk some Irish lore, and we're going to get into a little bit more of what everybody's been watching recently. So without further ado, who has some stuff they want to talk about in terms of St. Patrick's Day?
I feel like I should have worn my kilt. I have my kilt in my closet.
But only the kilt, because then it's a onesie.
Yeah, only the kilt, and then I get and we'll immediately lose any viewers.
We have viewers.
I don't know. So I'm pretty light on this one. I'm waiting for everybody else to see what they do, because beyond the general leprechaun echelon, I don't know a whole lot as far as this stuff. I do know. Oh, there was the one about an Irish bride, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was on Sci-Fi Network. I watched that one time, and I can't think. It was like an Irish bride that came back from the dead, but it was apparently according to the movie, every 7 years, an undead bride can come back from the grave on St. Patrick's Day if you wish on a 4-leaf clover type of thing. And it's your general Irish lore. But beyond that, I did leprechaun basic stuff for here.
That's why you got to love the Irish. They're very specific about how their lore works. You got to wish on this day, under this tree, with this amount of money in your pocket, and that's about it.
In your left pocket specifically, usually.
In your left pocket.
It's got to be the pocket of the devil. The left pocket. It's got to be the pocket of the devil.
Well, let me read off a quick list of movies that take place on St. Patrick's Day, so we can kind of get into it before we get into Leprechaun, which is obviously the most famous. So we have Maniac Cop. That's widely considered a St. Patrick's Day movie. God Told Me To, which is another Larry Cohen film that takes place on St. Patrick's Day during the parade. There's a movie called Red Clover. I've never seen it, but I heard it's actually pretty good. It's another Leprechaun type of movie, but it's not the Leprechaun. And, of course, Grabbers, which is an Irish movie that takes place on St. Patrick's Day. It doesn't take place since St. Patrick's Day, but it's Irish, so, whatever. We'll go with that. And then, there's one movie that pops up on a lot of horror lists, and I want to get your opinions on before we go forward, and that's Boondock Saints. Very violent movie, but I don't know that I'd call it horror.
Yeah, I've never seen that pop up on a horror list.
Yeah.
Are you making that up? Can you provide proof?
It's I've actually read it on a lot of lists doing my research today, and it was iHorror, Bloody Disgusting added it to a couple of lists.
Nice.
Just because of the violence, you think?
Yeah. It's 100% got to be the violence.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be like saying Reservoir Dogs is a horror movie. I feel like
cop or not.
It does have revenge. I mean, if I'm going to defend it, It's like a revenge movie.
I am by no means sticking up for it being a horror film. I just want to know what you guys think.
I think when you like look at a festival like Fantastic Fest and you call what we do like genre film instead of horror because we watch like sci-fi and like all that type of stuff, I think it fits in that way. Like Escape from New York isn't a horror movie, but like we still talk about it kind of in the horror genre.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like a cult, more of a cult film. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm surprised, though, they have so many Irish films that even don't take place on St. Patrick's Day as a part of horror. But there's a few movies that have banshees in them, and none of them ever show up on horror lists. And banshees are like a very Irish.
100%.
Sure, yeah.
So it's so weird to me. I would actually like to see more movies about banshees. I don't know about you guys.
Agreed. Banshees 2020.
That's so
2021.
funny. 2020. Yeah. We leave them in 2020.
Well, right now, Katie's in like 8 feet of snow outside her window. So, like,
oh, it's true.
It could have been a week for all she knew.
You probably can't tell, but there's like at least 3 feet of snow piled up against my house. It was insane last night.
Damn, that's crazy. We were in shorts yesterday.
Oh wait, Nick, it's coming, man. It's 31 degrees right now in Michigan. So
it just snowed here in Minnesota starting this morning, and we've obviously we didn't get 3 feet, but it was like 50 degrees yesterday, and now it's 30 degrees, and we got like a half a foot of snow. So, and then it's gonna be 50 degrees again on Thursday.
So Frank and I are over here getting ready for St. Patrick's Day in spring, and you guys are
stuck in the winter.
I don't know what's going on over here.
Did you guys see the Hulu special from Into the Dark on St. Patrick's Day?
Not this past one.
I really liked it. My wife hated the protagonist. I'm trying to remember the name to it, but like basically, is it like aliens? I'm trying to remember, but like, so it's St. Patrick's Day and a bunch of people get like infected basically. And I can't remember if it's aliens or not. And the whole thing happens. There's this really cool scene at a bar and suddenly the girl that they're looking for is just gone. And they have
Crawlers.
To go yeah. Crawlers.
That's
I
so
really
funny.
like that.
Oh yeah. That's the one where they go to bar, right? Bar crawling. Yep. Okay.
That's a
I'm a sucker
similar
for a bar crawl anyway. So
That's a similar plot to Grabbers, which you just mentioned a little while ago. It's people start like an alien invasion in a small Irish town. All these people are in a bar and they're trying to like fend off from these alien invaders who I feel like possess them in some way. I forget the exact premise, but it's real absurd because it's just a bunch of drunks fighting like tiny little monsters trying to attack or whatever.
And in Grabbers, don't they have to remain drunk?
Say that again. They have to what?
They have to remain drunk.
Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to remember it. I watched it so long ago. That's a terrific premise.
They basically can't drink blood from people who are drunk. And so they tell the entire town, please go to the bar and get wasted. And then
Dan will be the hero of our version of Grabbers.
That's true.
The drunken masters.
But like the rest of the film is basically like just law enforcers stumbling around drunk trying to find these giant squids, and it's fantastic.
It was like 2 weeks in a row. I got my little pad of paper. I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this one. And I'm like,
yeah, great. It's real good. I want to rewatch it. And then I don't want to like jump subjects so quickly that I forget to talk about Banshees because I loved that you brought that up, and I want to kind of put my opinion on that because like I feel like there's a lot. How many times can we rewatch someone trying to be like, I'm going to make the newest vampire movie or I'm going to make the best new zombie movie? Like I even feel like witches aren't used enough. Like there are a couple of like character types like that could like really be brought to the forefront in movies. And I think Banshees are one that never came to mind until you just brought it up a second ago. But like, how interesting of a movie would that be?
And they should, because Banshees are like a fun. For people who don't know like what Banshees are, and like that they're basically haunted souls, haunted like of like female. I mean, they're not. Okay, so I'm trying to explain this the best way.
It's like I think the easiest way for people to think of it is like the tale of like Macbeth or like Out to Sea. The voice, the singing you hear from out at sea when you're at a boat. That's a banshee. They're calling to you to come to them, and then they're going to lure you into their trap. I think most people have seen that like tale in one way or another. Like I've seen it in the cartoon Gargoyles for the first time. I remember.
I remember watching.
Thanks again, D&D, for like letting me know what something was.
I remember watching it as a kid. There was a movie called Darby O'Gill and the Little People. About it takes place in Ireland. Sean Connery's in it, and very, very young Sean Connery is in it. When he had hair and muscles, and he. It takes place in Ireland. Darby O'Gill is this guy who's like always talking. He's like always lying to the townspeople about having seen leprechauns, things like that, until he finally finds one. And weirdly enough, it's a Disney movie, but it was like a 50s Disney movie where, they kind of skirted the lines of like, this could be horror at some points, with certain things. And it was at the end because there was like a banshee chasing the leprechaun in the movie. And the way they did it, like the way, like the special effects back then were just so interesting, like how they had it, like it was kind of like this ghost thing that they had going. Ghost like stagecoach carrying the banshee away with it. It was just very cool, and that's how I learned about it.
I was very excited by the idea of a ghost stagecoach. We need more of those too.
I've seen that. Yeah, right. You're very excited. Imagine this: an Irish horror universe where it's like you got the leprechaun, and then you got your banshee character, and you got all these different like what else would it be? Another Irish horror character. I'm gonna figure this out. We're gonna make this happen.
Trolls have their origin in Scottish and Irish traditions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was thinking more like Swedish when trolls.
That too. I mean, it just depends on what kind of troll. You're
right.
talking about the troll that lives under the tree or the troll that lives on the bridge.
I don't know which one is Irish.
The tree.
Aren't like fairies and pixies and stuff more Irish too?
Yeah, fairies are kind of fairies are basic. Most of the Irish folklore are subsets of fairies. Leprechauns are fairies. Banshees are fairies. They're basically all different types of fairies.
That druidic tradition. Awesome.
Did anybody see? And not to get off of it, this actually is part of it, but like that Into the Dark Hulu series, Puka.
Mm-hmm. The Christmas one.
Yeah. So but from everything I'm reading, Puka is actually an Irish. That's like a real, not that doll that they use.
Yeah.
The character of that is actually from Irish folklore.
Oh,
yep. A Puka is
nice. I was just going to mention Holidays. If you guys have seen that, it has the one about the Pied Piper guy.
Yeah,
referred to a snake, and like that's supposedly druidic. I don't know if that would count as like Irish, but like they use the druidic symbols and like Celtic symbols in it, and so follows along a little bit.
So if we were to pitch horror movies right now and say like, okay, it has to be a St. Patrick's Day horror movie, and we have to use Irish like based monsters. What do you got? Like, I mean, I know Banshees is one we talked about. They've kind of used them, but like, what do you think? What's our team up here? We can even throw leprechauns in there, but not the leprechaun, not Warwick Davis running around. We'll get to him in a minute.
I love Warwick Davis, man.
So like, what would a cool villain in a horror movie be based on Irish folklore?
I think it'd be really cool to do. Go ahead, Katie.
Oh, I feel like maybe a smattering of malevolent lake dwellers of some kind would be good.
Nice.
Like
they call them merrows and
ghosts coming out of lakes covered in moss type of thing.
Well,
I've just always been obsessed with the idea of like somebody who, when they do something, they like their body becomes tattooed as a result of that act. And since like so much of the etching and stuff that comes from Irish traditions, like like some guy wandering out of the moors and is like covered in tattoos and nobody knows who he is, and suddenly he just slaughters like innocent villagers. I thought that would be really cool. I don't like. I'm granted. I always am gonna fall back on the '80s slasher motif more than like something that's atmospheric. So
I just looked up.
Moana.
I get. Is that what Moana's like? I've never seen it, so I didn't know.
It's funny. I just looked up.
Go see Moana.
Yeah, go watch it. It's a good one. But I just looked up Irish monsters, and it's crazy the list they got here of things I've never heard of: the Doolaham, the Feargorta, the Cluracan, the Ganacon. But I want to read to you guys what the Cluracan is. The Cluracan is a mischievous
leprechaun.
fairy in Irish folklore known for his great love of drinking and a tendency to haunt breweries, pubs, and wine cellars. I want that. That sounds like my type of like Irish monster. He would be on my Avengers.
That sounds awesome.
That's basically what a leprechaun
The blood of the
becomes.
drunk.
All right.
I'm sorry. Say that, Dan, again.
He could only drink the blood of the drunk.
Okay.
So like the inversion of the movie, the Grabbers. Like, so
Yeah.
the only time, and it's like this big metaphor for like, oh, don't be an alcoholic, you schlub. And like, so the only time he drinks their blood is when they're like wasted. And so it's this like tradition where you're like, oh, a ghost town in Ireland. Oh my God, nobody goes to the bar. Why? And then it's like, oh, because he lurks in the basement. And some Americans show up and they're like, oh, Irish pub, we're gonna get hammered. And then one by one they get knocked off.
That's a terrific fucking movie. Like,
write the script.
You know what? That would be.
I've started like 80 books, so like I'll never finish it.
Yeah,
But it would be funny as an Irish horror comedy. Like this town has to go cold turkey. No drinking. And these monsters are just kind of like.
Some dude named Kieran is just walking to his job every day pissed off. Like, I couldn't go to the pub last night. Like,
They actually have their own version of a vampire too, called the Apartak.
They've got a couple of different ones because the one that I came across that I think would be kind of an interesting, more atmospheric movie is the Linan Seed, which is a female vampire. It's an Irish vampire. What she does though is she gives inspiration to poets and musicians, but she shares her intelligence, creativity, and magic with them, and then she leaves them, so they get so depressed they die. And then she takes them back to her lair, and instead of like sucking the blood out of them, she drains it in a red cauldron, and that's the source of her beauty and artistic inspiration.
Well,
That's
listen,
wonderful.
if you want to put your vampire on the list, fine.
sounds like something out of a Cradle of Filth album. I love it. I'm into it. Like pseudo Elizabeth Bathory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I dig it though. I like the Avengers, the Irish Avengers we got going on here. I'm telling you, the Puka's got to be on there. I'm sorry, this thing is terrifying.
Oh,
yeah, I'm looking at it now.
It's so weird looking, and I love every second of it. I'm gonna add it so that way.
I got to imagine there's just a ton of like Irish folklore surrounding the sea and like fishermen and stuff like that too.
Well, we just watched Sea Fever.
Yeah,
that's an Irish movie.
That was Irish.
And it's like a whatchamacallit? What do you call it with the big monsters and everyone overuses that word? There's a TV show based on it. No, that's one of them.
Oh,
what was that? No, there's the TV show right now. Something Country.
Lovecraft. Oh,
yeah,
Lovecraft.
The Lovecraftian
Cthulhu.
monster. Thank you for like sticking with me there. But yeah, so Sea Fever definitely has that whole like sea like faring story in an Irish culture going for it.
I still remember that thing poking out of that old lady's eye, and I almost lost it. I voted for that so hard and tried to get people to vote for that movie because I was into it, and like nobody else was really buying it. I was like, "Come on!"
Yeah, it went against Monstrum. Monstrum was the powerhouse for the entire month.
Yeah, this is a Puka.
Yes,
it will haunt
it's
your
kind of a goblin-esque.
Delightful.
That's delightful.
That's delightful.
I'm into it.
The Final Onesies mascot is the Puka. Well, so I don't know why leprechauns get such a bad rap in horror. I mean, yes, they've made like what 9 movies now based on one leprechaun.
Into space, and it's like,
Yeah.
But all
Well, and
leprechauns,
the funny thing about Leprechaun, at least the series, is that Frank was talking about the Cluricon, and essentially the idea of a leprechaun and a Cluricon, they're kind of like cousins almost, and over time they've kind of become one kind of creature, but it just gets tacked on to the leprechaun side because leprechauns traditionally actually wear red before the 20th century. And then when all the horrible stuff that was happening to Irish immigrants, leprechaun is more of a stereotype of Irish people. And they tacked on the green from Ireland, but that's actually an element of the Cluricon, is that he dresses in green, and he's likes alcohol and stuff. So it's the terrible traits of the Cluricon intertwined with that people learning about Irish culture and folklore and just treating it. They're kind of being disparaging about the Irish and giving him all these terrible traits that he's a drunkard. He's and that kind of stuff.
I am not.
Here's my biggest problem with you, John. You're a plethora of knowledge, and you let us talk about things we don't know for far too long before you group in and correct us.
I'm like, I found this thing called a kula. I can't even pronounce it.
Tell us from the beginning. Don't make us look stupid.
No,
I just, I wait for my moment and I just chime in. And I don't think, the thing about, and obviously Dan as a teacher will probably agree, is that, I don't like, even if you know more, you might know more about one thing, but it's just going to make somebody feel foolish if you are always trying to correct them. I mean, just let them learn on their own.
You're all good, man. I was just messing
You're
with
good. We've been telling the story about me saying quadrupedal like 10 shots in for a week now. My wife lost it when I did that. She ran downstairs and looked at me and was like, quadrupedal?
It's a good word.
Speaking of which, the human quadrupedal is coming out soon. Yeah. Oh, I bombed. That joke bombed. Hard.
I believe you. I was like, what?
For a second, I thought you were serious. I was like, tell me they didn't make another
like
human centipede thing. Like, I didn't.
No.
So, all right. We're gonna, I want to get more into the horror aspect, not just Irish folklore, but Irish horror movies. So let's move into the leprechaun field of it and like the Maniac Cops and stuff like that. What are some movies on Irish Day or St. Paddy's Day, as it is, that you guys enjoy watching? Do you guys enjoy watching the leprechaun movies?
I love them.
I usually don't watch any Irish related movies on. I'm always working on St. Patrick's Day, so and a lot of times I don't celebrate it because I'm not. I don't even know if I am Irish. I think I might be, but I'm really terrible with my own personal family history. Like, and even my own personal history, I can barely remember things that happened to me like a few months ago, and I mean, outside of a general outline, like I can kind of give you a point bulletin history of my life, but I'm not going to be able to write a memoir ever.
That's why it's good we live a lot of our life through things like Twitter and Discord, because you could just scroll down and be like, oh yeah, okay, that's right, that's what it said.
But I don't really know my family background other than that my dad's side is Tate, which could be Irish, but it also could be Scottish. So I don't really celebrate, and I because since I'm not Irish, I don't really celebrate personally.
It's huge around where I am. I am a little bit Scottish, but like there's a huge Irish community on Long Island. So like every town out here has a giant St. Patrick's Day parade. And I mean it's like they tell the police to take the day off. Everyone's shitty. It's like shut the stores down. Like,
it's the purge.
Yeah, it is I prompt, bro. It is like the purge. Like when some of these parades really go down, especially if you hang out till late night, like it gets crazy.
The Purge, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that'd be
Probably
a good one.
That's a different kind. That's a different kind of purge.
Yeah. But so like just to hop back into the what horror movies we'd watch though on the day, I do love the Leprechaun movies, and I feel like it's to me it's like the Child's Play series, like in that it's underrated and how good it is. Because like sure, you can make fun of it just the same way you can make fun of Jason. Jason also went to space. You know, Jason like went to Manhattan. Like, but for the most part, like people respect Jason. Like, but like I think like the Leprechaun gets like shit on, like because like he went to the hood, and it's like I don't know, those movies were fucking funny. Like those were good ass movies.
Also, like I mean, it's past February, but I don't care. I feel like every month is Black History Month. So like the fact that they took on that urban side of horror at the same time as Candyman, like they were out there doing something that not a lot of people were doing and giving a voice to some African American actors that weren't getting voices in horror. And that's what I watched during February. My brother and I both did. We kind of did not at the same time, but we just talked about it. And we're like, you know what? I'm going to check out Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood. And like, if you watch those movies, the depiction of it's like almost like blaxploitation, where it's like on one hand stereotypical, but on the other hand, it's like this is satire, and I dig it, man. I'm into it. Plus, it's got iced tea in it, and I love iced tea.
It had the same type of vibe as like Bones, you know, like the Snoop Dogg movie.
Yeah, the
like,
Snoop Dogg movie.
Like it was definitely blaxploitation, but it was done respectfully by Black people. Like it wasn't like it wasn't total exploitation.
So what? So just to get into like the Leprechaun franchise, like Frank.
He's trying to hug you.
I was leaning this way. I was leaning this way, and I was like, "Wait a second.
How did that just happen? Did you just move here? Mick really wanted a hug. He like literally hijacked that hug.
Directions are hard.
I don't want any of that hanky panky huggy stuff going on. I'm like,
Dan, you have to get consent before you hug the guests.
Consent before hugs.
What if I want to hold John's hand?
I'm okay with that. You have my consent.
There you go.
It's happening under the table.
There we go. Sorry, I'm sorry, Mick. Oh my God.
No,
you guys have to understand that, like, when I get home, I'm kind of manic because I've been with 17-year-old.
You've been behaving for 8 or 10 hours a day. You've been behaving, and now you get to let loose. So
yeah. Anyway, Mick, your question, man. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask about the franchise, and Frank, you seem to know a lot about the Leprechaun franchise. I've seen them, but I don't know nearly as much as everybody else. So I want to get your take on them, man. Like, what stands out to you about them? Like, I know you said that the franchise is still similar to like that of Child's Play or that of like even Friday the 13th and like his exploits, but like, what stands out? What makes them go down as such popular horror movies?
So similar to Chucky, here's what I had loved about it is the timeline hadn't broken until Leprechaun Origins a few years ago. So there's very few, like Phantasm, Chucky, and Leprechaun are like the three franchises you could say for like 30 years strong. Same exact story, same exact creators, except Leprechaun's not the same creators. But like Warwick Davis was in all of them for the most part until Origins. So same creator in that sense. The first one is a straight up like classy good movie. Like it's like Friday the 13th in that like the first Friday the 13th watched in a bubble is a good movie. Like, and then you start watching the silly Jason movies later on and you're like, oh, and it like dilutes the whole series. But Leprechaun, the first one's good. The second one escapes me. The third one, he's in Vegas. So it already starts getting crazy, like right away. Like they start going, what kind? He was one of the first ones to be like, where can we place the Leprechaun? And then you get Spaces 4, and then they do the Hood for 5 and 6, and then you come back for Leprechaun Origins, which is when the WWE bought it and redid it, and like just told this whole separate story about like this tall giant leprechaun monster that didn't talk, and it was almost like. It reminded me more of like a Jeepers Creepers type movie. It was like the tale. It was like a folklore type movie.
Creepers is a good call to that. It's like Irish Jeepers Creepers.
Really? Right? I felt like that fit. But then we come back with Leprechaun Returns by Stephen Katansky. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he did The Void and most recently Psycho Gorman. Did you guys see Psycho Gorman yet?
Not yet.
I want to see it so bad.
It is.
I didn't know you were making a new one, Frank. I had no idea. You lifted my heart, buddy.
So it already came out. The new one came out.
Yeah, it's already
2 years
out.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's incredible. So while the Origins one ignored the whole franchise, we came back with Returns, and Warwick Davis is in Returns, right? Anyone could confirm that?
No,
I can
he's
look
not.
it up, but he's not.
not.
Okay, he's not in it. But they have the character looks similar to the original, and they bring back characters from the original movie. The fat, goofy guy from the original movie comes back, and they talk about Jennifer Aniston's character, although she, and
I'm literally watching this tonight because I love it. I had no idea this existed. Because when Origins came out, I hated it so much that I was like,
I didn't hate it. I actually liked it for what it was. Although
It's kind of
it was a
like
departure from the whole
Halloween
series.
3. It's the Halloween 3 of the Leprechaun franchise. It's something different, and if you take it out on its own, aside from the CGI-ness of the actual Leprechaun, which bugged me, it's fine on its own. But as part of the Leprechaun franchise, that's why people don't like it. Is because it's not like Warwick Davis type Leprechaun.
Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't continue that story, absolutely. But I, even I interviewed the director about a year ago for that, and he really enjoyed doing it, but at the same time, he was just kind of like, it was a cash grab. Like they were jumping right on, and that's why when the third one, well, they took it because it didn't really take it anywhere. Like the second one, it was actually pretty good. I don't dislike it. There's a little bit more of a backstory to the Leprechaun in it.
That's the one where he's trying to get a bride, right?
Yeah, but it's like the descendant from one of his slaves. Like I don't mind it as much, but the third one, right to Las Vegas, they're just like, okay, and then you get right to space, and you're just like, all right, this is getting crazy.
I think there's a point in a horror movie, like if they're straddling that line of horror comedy, at a certain point, if you're continuing the franchise, you lean one way or the other. And like Chucky, they lean into it, starting with Bride of Chucky. I think
Seed.
is where and Seed.
But then they pulled back from it with Colt.
They did,
and Curse,
yeah,
which was like impressive. And that's why I think Leprechaun's so similar in that Hood was your Colt. Hood was your Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky.
Space would be your
Space. Yeah. Although Space still tried to kind of be serious a little. Like, as serious as these movies could be.
I think we're remembering the movie differently.
Maybe. But so, yeah, it's definitely not serious. But then it brings it back because Leprechaun Returns brings it back. And Leprechaun Origins even goes back to like horror. It's not funny, although it's not great.
I kept expecting it to be funny, and maybe that's why I got disappointed. I was like, wait a second, where is Warwick Davis? What is going on here? And like,
so I guess from everything I'm reading, though, it is the same character, though. It is what's the name?
In the newest one.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep. Yeah, because this last one is a direct sequel to the original. It kind of Halloweens the Leprechaun franchise. It ignores everything after one.
Mm-hmm.
It ignores everything after one and goes for like a reboot.
Okay.
Awesome.
So
I feel like 2 weeks in a row, I'm just like, hey, I had no idea. Like,
that is pretty interesting to know because it's funny because it reminds me a lot of, and I'm not saying that it compares to because I know Frank will kill me if I do this, but so when you were telling me about like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and what they did as they went on with just their storyline and kind of how it brought.
Why would I kill you? That's exactly what I was just thinking. Like,
okay,
as far as, like,
I don't ever want to besmirch Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
At some point, I would
I
really
love
like
Leprechaun.
the opportunity to talk about the masterpiece that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, or is it the no, the Next Generation?
Listen,
okay,
with McConaughey.
With McConaughey.
So yeah, and
You've been banned from the island.
Slip on the gauntlet. Dan has
It's
been
worth it.
snapped.
Dude, when Matthew McConaughey jumps out of the window and holds up the shotgun like a gaffy stick, I'm in. I'm sold. I'm sold. And so at some point, not today, obviously, but I want that on the docket because
well,
at some
definitely.
point.
it's right
Definitely.
here, right above. So if Freddy's right here, then the Next Generation is right above it for me. I have a soft spot for that movie.
That's a
We're gonna
Frank.
put it on your
That is a Frank episode if I've ever seen one where he has to lead the charge because this dude knows so much
about Texas. I love Texas Chainsaw. Hey, so let's say because while we're towards the middle of when is this gonna be released?
Thursday.
So that's gonna be after St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So congratulations everyone for having watched the movies with us last night. We remember last night when we watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii and Eaten Alive from Mutant Theater on St. Patrick's Day. That was a lot of fun. I also enjoyed
We had a
it.
blast.
we
I remember
had a
nothing
blast.
yesterday.
Yeah, I
I
also got
had
real shitty.
I had to go to bed
Yeah.
early.
Has some great St. Patrick's Day stories. I bet you got at least one super epic St. Patrick's Day story in your pocket where
Who, me?
things
What?
just went all kinds of sideways.
Oh, I'm never telling my St. Patrick's Day stories.
Oh,
But Katie's gonna have
I
Katie has to have at least one.
don't have any good St. Patrick's Day stories, but I have plenty of terrible drunken night stories that we could pretend happened on St. Patrick's
Just
Day.
pretend.
Let's do it.
I think probably the most ridiculous one was when I'd had one Jello shot too many, and I tumbled backwards into a chair. And I'm not a small, I guess I'm a slight person, but I'm a tall person. I'm all limbs and legs and arms. And I just got completely tangled up in the rungs of this chair. And I was so drunk that I could not figure out how to get out of it. And it was just flipping the chair over this way and that way. And it was a disaster.
That's a St. Patrick's Day story right there. I'm counting it. I'm marking that up on right there.
Getting stuck in a chair.
I do. I for years working in bars used to try to get bars to show Leprechaun on the screen instead of TVs. Instead of playing whatever the news or whatever somebody has on. I tried to get them to play the Leprechaun, and I watched far too many times the first one anyway, and I never was able to get it going. I even worked at a themed bar. So it was 80s themed. Everything in it was 80s. And I even couldn't get them to air it. They aired Beetlejuice instead.
Well, there's your problem. Leprechaun isn't. Is that an 80s movie or is that 1990?
That's 80s.
I thought it was 89. This is
80s?
you guys' thing.
It
I
was 87 or 88.
The first
Because-
Leprechaun's
Wait,
Yeah,
the
I suppose it's
we're
Innocence,
talking Beetlejuice. Where are we at?
it's the first Leprechaun's 93, so we're deep in the
Oh.
90s.
Wow.
93,
So
yeah.
confused.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, it's
about
It's right
Candyman
before
time.
Aniston got big. So.
right before. I knew that,
Yeah.
but I did. Granted, I've never
Wasn't
seen a
it
single
first
episode of
film?
Friends. So.
what was that, Katie?
Wasn't that Jennifer Aniston's first film?
I think so.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think it was her first film, but I think
it's like a first feature role, maybe.
her first star. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Warwick Davis's because he was in Willow, which is
Yes.
awesome.
He was,
Which
in,
is
Willow-
the finest movie ever made.
he was wicked.
Or-
His first movie was Return Jedi.
Was it the
Yeah,
first
we're,
one?
we're getting kind of sidetracked, but I would like to point out that Warwick Davis is a wonderful human being who has made many films and has also done quite a bit for the advancement of, getting
Whatever.
people,
Whatever.
little people in
Whatever,
acting.
bro. I don't sit here like Kane Hodder has also been in many films. He's fucking Jason. Get out of here. I'm sorry.
People think of Warwick Davis, and I think a lot of times they're going to pick one or two roles. They're going to pick the Leprechaun, or they would maybe pick his Star Wars stuff. But I think outside of his acting stuff, what he does, and I think he has a production company, and he helps other little people get roles in acting and stuff. I mean, that stuff that you see in like that show with Ricky Gervais, Extras. I think he's a character, and it's kind of a caricature of what he does. But I think he just seems like a really nice guy. Plus, the idea that he stuck with the Leprechaun series for so long, and he said that he's willing to come back to it. He had a kid after the last one he did, so that's why he didn't want to go back to doing the Leprechaun, is because he wants to wait until his kids get older. He said maybe when his kids turn 18, he'll come back.
Well, John, actually, I know Warwick Davis. He's calling me now. He says, "Nice guy." That guy John doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know what that means.
That sounds just like him playfully ribbing.
I don't do anything nice. I am the leprechaun.
Only acts of evil over here.
That's how he gets the role. He has to be the most evil being possible.
I gotta look it up just because, like, Warwick Davis has to be at least.
He was
55.
He was in his 20s in the 80s, I believe, because I think he's like 23 when he did Willow, somewhere around there.
He's only 51. Warwick Davis is only 51.
Dang.
Wow! Imagine.
So, man, he must have started acting really, really, because that's only 14 years older than me. He must have started acting really, really early, and he must not have been very old when he filmed The Leprechaun.
Well, he started in his very first role was Return of the Jedi, and he was 13.
So he was 23 when he starred in Leprechaun. Good for him, man. Like, how, because like Robert Englund was 28, 29, 30 when he took Freddy. Like, and then Jason has obviously rotated. Now, in Chucky, the voice didn't change until.
They didn't change except for they did the reboot. That's the reboot.
Yeah, it's different.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
So
but
good.
Brad Dourif is going to do the series. So
yeah, no, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one coming back. Speaking of leprechauns, Chucky coming back is going to be amazing. No, but all right, let's get off the leprechaun talk because I feel like we've praised Warwick Davis enough, and he doesn't deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore. And leprechaun cannot stand up.
I'm with John. I'm putting him on Rushmore. He's on my horror Mount Rushmore. Warwick Davis is on my horror Mount Rushmore. I'm not.
Are you serious? He's on your horror Mount Rushmore.
I just wanted to point out that he's a very nice guy and he does a lot for his community.
I'm telling you, he beats up children in his spare time. What you're talking about?
I'd say he's like number 8. He'd be number 8.
8?
Yeah, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, Leatherface, Ghostface, Chucky, Pinhead, and then Leprechaun. And I
would put Candyman over him.
I was about to say, and that's forgetting about Candyman, and then maybe Leprechaun. And then I don't know who the 10th would be.
I need a list here. I need a list because I'm actually with Frank on that one.
To be fair, so that the one that the painting that I display every time I have my show, he's not on there. Like some dude painted that.
I have a similar one that's a little. I mean, it just with the kind of I don't know the whole crew up here. He's not on that either, and we forgot about Jigsaw. Jigsaw.
Nah, well, you're supposed to forget about Jigsaw. We're talking about like the OGs, like.
He goes back far enough, I think. Like, I mean, that's over 20 years.
Tobin is Tobin Bell. Is that his name or Tobias Bell?
Tobin Bell.
Dude, he's a great actor. I like him. He's not on my Rushmore or anything. Before Frank reaches down and like yanks me up off. But like, I like that guy. He can scare the hell out of a person. Like,
did a good job in them. And I listen for what they were. I mean, if we're putting anybody on a Mount, all right, so that's just characters on the Mount Rushmore of horror. If anything, I'm putting directors on my Mount Rushmore before any characters. But I want to hear from Katie, our guest. Who are the top 4 in your Mount Rushmore of horror?
Oh my goodness. I feel like they would all consist of monsters.
That's good. Go for that then. Do it however you want.
Like Pumpkinhead, probably.
There you go.
Alien Queen. The T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Okay.
The Thing when it comes out of the dog.
That's a solid monsters list. I mean, I'd have to have Godzilla on there, but
yeah, I mean, Godzilla is standing like on top of Mount Rushmore, and his feet are like planted on top of everybody else, pretty much.
that's fair.
And that's how I feel about King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh,
I mean, I agree with her. I am team Godzilla, but that's
I mean,
again
it's not
another
any
topic.
question that he would just dominate anybody.
I'm all for Godzilla, and I want him to win so bad.
Have you seen the memes where it's just like Godzilla and all the things, and then it just shows like poor King Kong, like I'm monkey, and like I want to root for him just because like there's no chance in hell that he can beat up Godzilla. I mean, like he's just a big human.
Godzilla's as big as he needs to be. He's as powerful as he needs to be in like any situation. Like his size changes, his powers change. Like King Kong, he ain't got nothing. I'm sorry.
Godzilla's the Mecca, in my opinion. He is in movie monsters. He is the 100%. Kind of.
John, how about you? Which one are you going for again? Did you say Godzilla 2, right?
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. You just said Team Godzilla. So like, it makes me feel like I should be Team Kong. Just
I'm with you, dude.
you.
I'm gonna cheer for Kong because
I thought you were saying it sarcastically almost.
Oh,
I thought you were like, you're really Team Kong too. Okay, yeah, there we go. We can hug.
Team Godzilla.
This is gonna be the Lord. Oh my, he's just gonna rotate people. I'm just gonna be like,
oh, there, you guys. Yep, you gotta hug them all.
All right, so I feel like we're getting sidetracked again, as we always do.
Yes.
So we were going to go into other
sidetrack
movies.
Too generous for what we get.
Yeah, we
get.
We got into like we'd ask a question, and then like one of us is getting into like a completely off the rails. And it was
that's what it means when we say the final onesie. It's whoever dominates the conversation with whatever the hell they want to talk about. We started with the Leprechaun series, and we got to Godzilla.
Our poor listeners.
We just need to let our guests talk from now on and just chime in every once in a while. So we're off St. Patrick's Day movies. We've kind of covered them. I want to hear what everybody's like watched. What have been like your recent watches? Horror, of course.
Yeah. I just watched Girl with All the Gifts finally the other day.
I haven't seen that. What's that?
It's an English horror film. It's a zombie film, but it's basically about these children that were rescued from the bodies of pregnant zombie women and have sort of a resistance to the virus, and they're being tested in this facility to see if they can try to come up with a vaccine for the zombie apocalypse that's going on. And it's about this one girl in particular who just loves learning, and she is kind of the proof that her humanity can kind of come through past her zombie tendencies. And it is absolutely phenomenal. I cannot praise it enough. All the casting is perfect. The special effects are amazing. And the plot is wonderful as well. It's very like compelling and thought-provoking, and I would recommend it to anybody. It was great.
Sounds good, John. What do you got, man? What have you been watching?
Well, actually, this last week, because I've been watching movies written or directed by women for Women History Month. Kind of similar what Tim did for Black History Month. He watched movies written and directed by African Americans. So last week, I actually kind of fell into a Greta Gerwig hole by accident. I started with Little Women, and then I watched Lady Bird.
Horror podcasts.
Oh no!
But then I ran out of Greta Gerwig movies, and I watched this movie called Atlantics, which is It's billed as a romance drama, but it's got a supernatural aspect to it. It's from a couple of years ago, and this woman falls in love with this man, but she's set to marry this guy, like this rich guy, in a kind of arranged marriage deal, and it's set kind of in the future, I think. And the guy she loves, he goes out to sea because the guy she's set to marry, his dad has them all building this tower, and he refuses to pay them, so they're gonna go live a better life while they don't come back. And so there's this supernatural element to it that's kind of hard to explain without spoiling. I would say it's a horror movie, but it's a supernatural horror movie.
All right, fair.
It's more of like a romance horror movie.
That sounds interesting.
Dan, what do you
I liked it. It was good, and that's because otherwise I'm gonna have I have to say that I just watched whatever the mutant fan watched for horror movies. So
that's
well, that's it. Like I'm just gonna.
I'm about to talk about
because I thought my brother made some good choices last night for my first Sunday scares. And I kept using and flipping the title of Phantom at Terror Lake or Terror at
Monster of Phantom Lake. I think it was the first one.
And like I contacted that guy. I reached out. He hasn't emailed me back yet, but I would really like to get that director because he has a whole miniverse on one of our shows.
Or like get one of his movies on Mutant Palooza, Tim had said. I'd be so interested in that.
And like I thought that movie was great. I enjoyed every second of it. It was my kind of cheesy, like B horror anyway. And the dialogue was as horrible as you can imagine, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Filmed in Minnesota, by the way.
Well, that's it. Like shout out to Minnesota, and everything. And apparently the guys at and I don't know if Mary wasn't there last night, so I don't know, but I know Scott and Dave both know the female love interest and have seen the director speak before. Yeah. I would love nothing more to see one of them in Mutant Palooza, like as far as like, because I checked out their website while we were watching the movie and everything, and I looked at some of the trailers for their movies, and it is right up our alley, guys. Like,
sweet.
It's awesome. I can't recommend it. So if anybody's listening out there and you weren't there for Sunday Scares, check out that movie, The Monster at Phantom Lake. Did I get that right that time?
Something of Phantom Lake or
Phantom Lake. I kept messing the title up in my head, and I had to keep checking the title when I was doing the tweet along because like it's not like necessarily one that's like well known or anything like that. And kudos to Tim for finding that because like I would have never known it existed. That's the kind of thing that when you're browsing through Prime, you're like, how did that get made? Skip. Like, I hope I never passed it before because I now have all of his movies queued up on my Prime, and in the next couple weeks, I'm going to keep trying to check out more of his miniverse. It's called. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Frank, man, what you got in the chamber?
I'm going to wrap it up back into Irishness because we just recently watched a movie called Open 24 Hours together. So most of you probably watched it on a Friday night. Maybe some of you didn't. Like 2 weeks. I think it was on your birthday, Katie, that we watched it.
I
like
think that
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the week before or week after. But whatever the case would be, it's by an Irish director named Paddy Reynolds. He made Rites of Spring, which I watched in like 2011, 2012. And I kind of just always had him on my radar since then because I liked it so much. And then this movie came out just last year, Open 24 Hours. It's about a girl who gets out of prison after having like murdered her serial killer of an ex-boyfriend. And then the serial killer's ex-boyfriend starts like reappearing in her life as she's working at a gas station all night. It was, real interesting stuff. And I was, so happy that the director, real interesting stuff. Whatever.
I liked it. I remember liking it, Frank.
Dude, I liked it a lot. And the director was so cool because like he was so receptive to when I messaged him to like just be available to answer chats and tweets and stuff. And his name is like as Irish as it gets. Padrig. I can't do the R or the G roll like they would, So yeah, I feel like he's like a under the radar horror director who could like have some movie really blow up within the next few years, and then his back catalog is suddenly going to be like a big deal. People are going to be talking about these movies because they're really good. If you haven't seen his other two, Worry Dolls and Rites of Spring, check them out.
That's awesome, man. All right. Well, I did not get a chance to check it out that night. I forget where I was, but I wanted to see it. That was the night of the charity event, so I couldn't watch it. But yeah, I definitely need to check it out because you were telling me about it that week. I will say this: the only thing that I really got to watch again recently was Willy's Wonderland. I really enjoyed it. I
still gotta watch it.
It's fun action comedy. Nick Cage plays a great role in it. Yeah, I got to interview the director of that too, and he was going for a Evil Dead 2 type vibe, and I think he nailed it personally.
Nice.
It's definitely over the top. I will say this, Mick, just to provide a little bit of disagreement. I felt it was a little too one note.
Okay.
Just a little too much one note, and they should have. If you're gonna put Nicolas Cage in a movie, take that rein out of his mouth and just let him go. And I feel like they reined him in just a little bit too much. And I wanted more crazy Nicolas Cage, and I didn't quite get enough. You know?
See, the fact that for me though, and it's just a matter of opinion. Whoever wants to watch it, see what you guys think. I liked that he was had no lines in the entire movie, was just more reserved in this crazy situation, because I love Mandy's my favorite movie of 2018.
Oh, so good.
So to see him play like a different role, but still be in this kind of crazy asinine thing that's going on, this whole world, I kind of dug that, and I liked his character even more. I would love to see more of his character.
It was unique to him, and they explored, in my opinion, almost like a Bane-esque type version of Nicolas Cage, where they let him act more with his face.
Yeah.
And I'd give it a solid B+. I mean, most Nicolas Cage to me, that this could be, you know what, one person can be on Mount Rushmore, Nicolas Cage. So I love to death. Color Out of Space, I think, is now in my top 5 horror movies all time. Mandy was phenomenal. Everything he does.
Amazing how different we disagree, because you weren't a big fan of Willy's Wonderland, and I thought Color Out of Space was horrible.
Oh, Mick, come on.
I hated that movie so much.
Explain.
Along with it wasn't the one note like you were talking about Willy's Wonderland. There was layers to it, but I just thought I was I'm not a Lovecraftian guy as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Frank says that word's banned. You're canceled.
We don't cancel people.
I like the idea of it. I love Lovecraft Country because the lore of Lovecraft is really good. The idea of the worlds that he opened up, but I just felt like his writing was just not for me. But I think people who take what he was creating and do their own thing with it, and not just stick to this is what we're trying to do as much of a Lovecraft thing as possible. That's where for me it kind of falls in line. I'd rather see people kind of take it and do their own thing within that world. And Frank gave up on me. He's quitting.
I'm not quitting. I'm just
he wants to
my eyes are still open.
So the Color of Space just didn't do it for me. But it's not the craziness, because I did love Mandy. Mandy is still one I revisit often. It's just Color of Space was almost too bonkers for me.
Yeah. What's so funny, bro? Yo, so that's so funny. I said the exact opposite. When I got done with Color of Space, I was like, man, that could have been a little bit more bonkers for me. I was like, you just kind of see the monster, you get some good views of it, some good angles, but I was like, that could have been much crazier. But that's just me.
That movie, when I got to the end, especially when they walked into the shed and the guy's in there, I'm thinking about it right now, and the hair is rising on the back of my neck.
Yeah.
And he makes fun of me because, to me, the scariest movie ever made is Alien. Not even close for me. What is out there is so unknown is so terrifying to me. And that whole part where he walks in and he's clearly dead, and the voice is on the radio, and it's his recording, but it's done at some weird volume, and then suddenly it's like Space Odyssey 2001 coming in your face for the rest of the movie. I was glued to it. I rewound it. I watched it. I talk about aging myself. I went back a chapter and watched it, and I went back a chapter and watched it again. And like, I just couldn't get enough of it. The next day I talked about it with my friend at work, and like, we watched it after school. We were sitting there on our phones watching it again. He's like, oh my God, I got to watch this movie. Like, I would give that movie every Academy Award that has ever been made by mankind.
That's why we don't put you in charge of it.
No, nobody should ever put me in charge of an award, man. Oh my gosh. I can't even remember what year movies are made most of the time. So,
well, as we're kind of closing out, and Dan, again, I am not putting down Color of Space. I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it, but I understand why people did. So, you're wrong. That's all. No, so like, but I definitely get it, and I would love to have a Nick Cage conversation on the show one day.
Could you imagine getting him on the show?
I will work on it.
Oh my God. I'd just be like, because I don't know if I've ever told this story, but the only person who I've ever encountered that would made me starstruck was Pauly Shore. And I know that sounds so random, but I waited on Tom Cruise. I met the kid from Jerry Maguire, like, and all the other celebrities, a bunch of hockey players I met on an airplane once. Like, I've never felt intimidated besides Pauly Shore. But if Nick Cage were on this show, I would be like, Mr. Cage, I'm a big fan. And just kind of like shrink into my chair as I wouldn't know what to say. I would be just starstruck. The guy is, I think he is, and I said this before in the Mutant Chat, and people disagreed. And I don't like Nicolas Cage is Jack Nicholson with a worse manager. And like the same kind of energy and the same kind of just like raw acting power.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you there because I want to do a Nick Cage type of episode. Okay, yeah. And I don't want to get into it at the end because I feel like it's too rich of a conversation for all of us. I will say this, though. I'll do my best. I have actually interviewed 4 of his most recent directors recently, and I'm still working. Nice. I'm like fishing them out to be like, all right, I'm gonna interview you, and then just send them all to Nick Cage and be like, so I interviewed them.
Tell him that he can wear a onesie.
I was about to say he's really gonna love when we're like, bro, you need to have a unicorn onesie on the ready.
He probably has one, and he's just been dying to wear it in an interview. And
I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love your onesie, by the way, Katie. I gotta say, I love your onesie.
Oh, thank you. I love my onesie too. I think if you ask Nick Cage anything about the Marvel universe, you will be okay because he loves Marvel so much.
Or DC, because I mean he named his kid Cal, so
that's right. Yeah. His onesie would probably be Superman, right? Like, have you guys ever seen the Screen Test? That dude would be like,
it better be Superman. But as we're kind of closing out, I do want to, Katie, plug your stuff again. Let's promote. I want to try and get you as much support as possible.
Oh, thank you. You can certainly find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on, I have a coffee account as well, if you ever feel like throwing $3 in there. And just say hello. I will be happy to talk, and I'm gonna have I guess the one big thing that's coming up is by the time this airs, my 50% off sale will have started on my prints and at my shop. That'll be starting on St. Patrick's Day. So it'll go from St. Patrick's Day to the end of March. So by all means, take a look.
Dan, look at Dan. He's ready. He's reaching for his wallet there.
I didn't I am 100% into it. Like I bought.
Dan's like, how do I put more money for the dog again? Do we save Brady yet?
Nick, you got to tell him. I was inoperative at 1:00 in the morning, I think, and I was like trying to type I was like, wait 1 second, 1 second. Like, and I was trying to make it function. I was just like, this is so bad. I can't even trying to text on my phone. And
we were in that last hour, and you're like, I'm going to throw more money and save Brady. I'm like, we saved him hours ago. Calm down. Stop throwing money out.
I was, to be fair, a bunch of people. So I did, before I went on the 10 to 15 minute segment, I had already done 8 shots.
Yeah, we know.
I did the 4 on the segment, and I was like, this is going well. I'm doing all right. And because the segment went really well. And then suddenly we did the Onesies podcast, and I was like, ooh, things are not functioning appropriately.
It was fun. It was fun for all of us.
Well, I want to thank Katie for coming on, and but real quick, plug your stuff, plug your show, Dan, and plug Mutant Palooza, Frank.
Dan,
well, I'll go for it. Like, so every Friday, 6 p.m. Tune in. This week we're doing a Golden Girls cocktail based on Betty White. So if you're into Golden Girls and you want to see a martini that is Betty White themed, it'll be the only show on YouTube that has a Betty White themed martini, I think. So tune in 6 p.m. Get your Friday kicked off. So that way, let me do it right here. This guy can take over and show us some good movies.
6 p.m. Eastern, by the way.
Eastern time, not Central.
Yeah, right. We got people all over the world. Chris runs Mutant Theater, so we'll give Chris his due for the 8 o'clock double feature on Friday nights. But then obviously, Chris, woo! And that looked like you were getting ready to do something else. You were like,
because I don't have a prep period this trimester. I have not eaten today.
All right.
So I'm like,
we're gonna rush you off and get
gracious.
Right. So yeah, of course, we got our Friday night, drink specials, movies, but then Mutant Palooza, we're still always looking for movie submissions for our annual film festival. So go to mutantpalooza.com. If you are a filmmaker, like we said, we're trying to get the director of Monster of Phantom Lake to be part of it. I might email him myself, so that way, like, he has emails from you, me, Tim, just sitting there like, who the fuck are these people? Stop bothering me. Yeah, like
they can't say we're not enthusiastic. That's when
we are the most enthusiastic. Someone said in the Discord chat, I forget who it was, Patrick came back from his surgery. He's like, everyone in this Discord is just so nice, and it's so true. Like, everyone in this community is like just overwhelmingly nice, and it's like, it's beautiful.
I love it. That's awesome. So everybody start submitting your horror films now.
Mutantpalooza.com.
What is it? Mutants.com?
Mutantpalooza.com. I own so many mutant domains, bro. Like, insane.
Any of the mutant domains. Mutantpalooza.com. So start submitting now. You can check out the Final Onesies every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Scene Snobs channel, and we have a page on the scenesnobs.com. So that's all I got. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Katie, for joining us.
Wait, what does John have? John, what do you have? What do you got to promote?
I have the entirety of Twitter.
It's true.
Get on Twitter. Feel upset.
I bought it from Jack Dorsey secretly. You guys now you know.
He sold it as an NFT for, just a tokenized like Bitcoin.
He was
type
so
thing.
proud of me. He just gave it to me Willy Wonka style. Like, here, John, it's yours.
Could you
now.
imagine? So his one tweet that he sold. You guys know the story. He sold the first tweet ever. Do you guys know what happened just recently?
Oh, no.
I read that.
Oh, God, no.
So we won't go too deep. I know we got to end, but an NFT, a non-fungible token. It's a something on the blockchain like cryptocurrency that represents. So he sold his first tweet for $10 million. Someone now owns his tweet, and like, so in the future, they could sell ownership of the tweet for more. Like, so if he could sell his tweet for 10 million, selling all of Twitter, man, that's a lot of money. Like,
that's ridiculous.
The Twitter factory is amazing, and yes, it has Oompa Loompas.
Yes, absolutely does. But until next time, we are the Final Onesies Horror Podcast. Join us every week, and we will, take care of you horror-wise. And and Master Shake will take care of you in other ways. Until next time. And that's our show, everybody. Thanks for listening. I am Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. We always appreciate you guys tuning in and commenting along and everything else. Go check out this show or any of our other shows on thescenesnobs.com. Thescenesnobs.com. We love you. You guys are awesome. And if you would like, follow and subscribe to our social media. That really helps us go a long way. And please spread the word. Tell your friends. Have them come in. We love feedback and everything else. So everybody, you have a great day. Again, thanks for listening. Thescenesnobs.com. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.